President Rooney, Provost Callahan, Dean Nowak, officers of the university, guests of honor, members of the faculty and administration, candidates for graduation, honored guests. Welcome to the 152nd annual commencement of Loyola University Chicago for the Quinlan School of Business. As we begin, let us pause for a moment to draw our attention to the university's land acknowledgement statement, both on screen and on the inside front cover of your program, honoring the heritage of the grounds we walk. Now, will everyone who is able please stand and join Ms. Lillian Murphy in singing the national anthem. We ask that you remain standing until the invocation has been given.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the
Thank you, Lillian. It is now my privilege to present Dr. Tassos Maliaris, the Walter F. Milady Senior Professor and Department Chair of Economics, who will give the invocation.
Shall we pray? Gracious and loving God, first, we thank you for encouraging our students to come to Loyola to receive a great education. You have watched over them as they learn, and then demonstrated the academic knowledge necessary to receive the graduate degrees announced in this ceremony. We are grateful for the opportunity to know these students and to have had them in our classes. Second, we ask for your almighty hand to be upon our graduates as they and their families rejoice in this grand achievement. This accomplishment is truly immense, and today we gladly celebrate our students' success. Third, looking forward into the future, continue to fill their minds of our graduates not only with more knowledge and technical skills, but with the understanding of how to use that knowledge to make the world a better place for all. Bless them to grow in the wisdom needed by great leaders so they show love as they serve others. Let their future success be centered around doing well by doing good. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Maliaris. Will everyone please be seated? It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Joanne Rooney, President, Loyola University, who will offer a few words of welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the students, faculty, staff, and trustees of Loyola University Chicago, and our worldwide network of alumni, family, and friends, welcome to the graduation ceremony for the Quinlan School of Business, part of the 2022 annual commencement of Loyola University Chicago. This year, all right. This year, we celebrate more than 5,000 graduates across 11 ceremonies in one joy-filled week. Being able to celebrate together this year adds an extra level of excitement to an already momentous occasion. Following many months of constant adjustment, isolating solitude, remote learning, and virtual ceremonies, we have learned not to take some of the most basic things for granted, such as joining together's community, or exchanging face-to-face greetings, or sharing that special hug. I extend heartfelt congratulations to all of our graduates, and the warmest wishes to all of the families, friends, and loved ones here with us today. Despite the uncertainties and constant challenges you encountered during this global pandemic, you have adapted and you have persevered. With resolve and resilience, you continue to connect, to learn, and to care for each other. You navigated constant changes while supporting one another and worked hard as you completed your degrees. This is the real definition of being Jesuit educated. Of course, there were countless difficult moments and even periods filled with doubt. But we have all been inspired by your resilience, creativity, and determination as you navigated so much change and uncertainty. And through it all, we have a renewed appreciation that we are all in this together, and none of us can accomplish great things alone. So let us take this moment to appreciate each other, students, families, faculty, and staff, for the many ways you lifted up one another, persevered, and leaned into a greater goal and the greater good. Let's have a round of applause for each other. At this Jesuit Catholic university, we understand that there is no learning without love, no success without kindness, no scholarship without accompaniment. There is no justice without mercy, no reason without faith, and no healing without hope. Our coming together today is a collective act of hope and of love. We come from many backgrounds and celebrate as one achievements across many fields. We connect not only to mark this milestone, but to affirm as a community our commitment to the values of Jesuit education, civil discourse, deeper understanding, greater justice achieved through education, research, and service to others, and seeking and seeing God in all things. To this class of 2022, as you transition from student to graduate, it is important to recognize that it is your calling, your responsibility to apply these values across a world that is in need of hope, commitment to action, and leaders like you. But for right now, at this moment, let us focus on the present. It is time to celebrate and commence.
Thank you, Dr. Rooney. It is now my pleasure to present Dr. Maciek Novak, Interim Dean of the Quinlan School of Business.
On behalf of the entire Quinlan community, I'm delighted to welcome you to this annual celebration of achievement. I would especially like to welcome and thank our president, Dr. Joanne Rooney, Provost Margaret Callahan, our featured speaker, Paul Fisher, and our student speaker, Mila Skinner, for joining us here today. Thanks also to the Loyola Wind Ensemble and all those who have worked behind the scenes to orchestrate this wonderful moment. Quinlan class of 2022, you made it. Hang on, let me emphasize that. You made it. Even a global pandemic could not stop you from earning your degree and moving closer to your career and life goals. Through it all, you have shown incredible resilience and care for each other. Masking, social distancing, and perhaps even isolating and quarantining are truly not easy, but you repeatedly showed your willingness to support the health and safety of our greater community. You have brought joy and energy to Loyola through simple acts like gathering with classmates and friends in our social areas, and through joining with the entire Loyola community to cheer on our men's basketball team. This year's NCAA run was unfortunately shorter than we'd like, but I know that the school spirit shown this year will continue and live on. You have also shown an incredible commitment to your education. Even as many of you balanced work, family, friends, and the stresses of a pandemic. Amid all of that, you sharpened your skills and knowledge through countless group projects, papers, and exams, working closely with our faculty on your path to knowledge. I've been honored to meet many graduate students over the last year. I witnessed the excitement of the Baumhart Scholars MBA students as they welcome the new Baumhart Center Director, Karen Weigert, to Quinlan. It was a treat to see the happiness of our executive MBA students as they prepared to leave for their class trip to Paris last month. It was the first international trip most of them had taken since before the pandemic. And it was a joy to learn that our next-gen MBA students are immediately applying what they learned in the classroom into their careers. That, after all, was the goal of the new MBA. And now you are joining the alumni community. Over the past year, I've asked nearly every Loyola alum I've met the same question. I asked, what is the most important takeaway from your Loyola education? All of the alumni said virtually the same thing. Loyola provided them with an understanding of how to do the right thing in business and in life. Doing the right thing is rarely the easiest or most obvious path, but I hope you are leaving here ready to forge that path. Our challenge to you is to do well in your careers, but also help drive the tangible change that is needed to create a better world. Your Quinlan education has given you the tools and moral compass. Now is the time to use them. Now I invite everyone to join me in congratulating the Loyola University of Chicago Quinlan School of Business Class of 2022.
Thank you, Dr. Novak. With pleasure, I present Ms. Mila Skinner, candidate for the degree Master of Business Administration, who will offer some remarks on behalf of the entire graduate student community of the Quinlan School of Business.
I had to flip to a page here because I'm old school and I'm not ready for all of this high tech up here. So, good afternoon, President Rooney, Provost Callahan, Dean Nowick, faculty, graduates, and guests. It is my honor and privilege to be here in community with our faculty, administration, my fellow Baumhart scholars, graduates, our families, and our friends. We each are called by a mission greater than ourselves. The degrees we attain today are representative not just of letters after our names or opportunities to secure a new job or a promotion. They are responsibilities to contribute more to the world around us. We live in a world in a time where we are finding ways to be separate from one another, where our ideas and our beliefs are being leveraged as tools and, dare I say, weapons to divide us. We are all being pushed to see someone's position over seeing them as a person. Lines are being drawn that pressure us to pick one side or the other. These degrees require us to blur those lines and to cross over them boldly. When I reflect on the time that we have spent on this academic journey, I think of knowledge gained in classrooms, or more particularly on Zoom. But more than this, I think of the ways in which we saw humanity in one another. We have spent the last couple of years living our lives through cameras while trying to make true human connection. We have spent these years struggling to love one another through pieces of technology and machinery. During this journey, some of us have sat alone, some of us had shared space, oftentimes too little space, with our partners and our children and our parents and with our roommates. We have had to love our sick and ailing family members through masks, and sometimes we've not been able to be with them when they've drawn their last breath. We have built new definitions of community. We have redefined a normality that no one expected to have to define. There is so much power in all of this. Many of you have loved and have lost and found out more about who you are as a human than you ever anticipated. I'd ask you to hold that, to cherish that, and to honor that. So like any good MBA student, I looked up the definition of MBA, and according to MBA.com, the Master's of Business Administration, or any master's degree, is a way to build your business knowledge, grow your professional network, and boost your career and salary prospects, yada, yada, yada. Sure, all of these things are true, but what MBA.com does not say is that getting your master's degree during a global pandemic, racial reckoning, multiple environmental crises, and general global unrest is a way to cataclysmically shift how our neighborhoods, communities, cities, and world engage. It is a path towards better understanding yourself and the impact that you and our work can have towards shifting the separated narrative that others attempt to write for us, the narrative that says we must call each other out. And instead, Baumhart scholars, what are we supposed to do? Call in. The call-out culture is about telling someone. The call-in culture is about asking someone. The call-out culture is about asking or about looking for the wrong. The call-in culture is about trying to find the right. The call-out culture is about the divide. The call-in culture is about togetherness. We must see one another's humanity, no matter how different we are, to call one another in. Today and every day, I ask you and I charge you with one task that will continue to make this graduating class different. You probably say, Mila, what's the task? I'm so glad you asked. The task is to call in. It's to call into the humanity, call into the connection, call into the learning. We each sit here with a profound responsibility and honor to take these degrees, make them meaningful, and to call in, to tap into our experiences gained from these unprecedented times, the knowledge gained and the community built to do more, to learn more, and to do better. So, in Black churches, there is an action that is asked of the people by the preacher when they want something to stick with you. They say, look at your neighbor and tell them something. So that's what we're gonna do today. I ask each of you, not just the graduates, to look at your neighbor. Go on, look at your neighbor. Look at the person next to you. That's the person your neighbor is the person next to you. And say to them, neighbor, y'all gotta do better than that. Come on, folks in the Black church. Neighbor, today and every day after,
Today and every day after,
I will call in with love.
I will call in with love.
Y'all didn't do too bad. To my fellow graduates, go and be great. Y'all, I gotta keep this in 5 minutes, so hold on. To my fellow graduates, go and be great. Continue to change the world, make it better. Use this degree as a tool to positively impact our society. Love hard, give grace, and be proud of this huge accomplishment. Congratulations, and thank you so much, truly.
Mila, thank you so much for those moving words. It is now my privilege to invite Dean Maciek Nowak back to the podium to introduce our commencement speaker.
I'm now pleased to introduce Mr. Paul Fisher, who will be delivering our commencement address. Paul is a leading business executive with an incredible story of success, loss, and redemption. In the last 10 years, he has also become a dedicated advocate for the Quinlan School of Business and for our Baumhart Center for Social Enterprise and Responsibility. Our mission of business for good resonates with Paul because it ties to his own values and how he sees business. Here at Loyola and Quinlan, he found a community of like-minded professionals, alumni, students, faculty, and staff, all working toward a better world through business. I'm pleased that Paul is with us today to share his insights. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Good morning. Good morning. Come on in. Okay, President Rooney, Provost Callahan, Dean Novak, faculty, and guests. Let me start by thanking the university for the opportunity to address you today. Congratulations for all the reasons that folks have described already. What an incredible achievement it is for you, and I think you'll realize over time dealing with this adversity is going to benefit you, and I'll talk about that a little bit today. This is an important step indeed on your life's journey. My own path led me here to Loyola to chair the advisory board of the Baumhart Center for Social Enterprise and Responsibility. Helping the center grow and thrive is the most important thing I've done in my life because it's tackling the abiding challenges of our age. You know what they are: income inequality, the denial of climate change, and the loss of the moral compass we once shared. Loyola has challenged you to build a better world. To get there, you must build a better you. This starts with your career. They say when you're older, like me, you can still make a fool of yourself, just in a more dignified manner. I hope the stories I tell you today don't prove this point. I just want you to dodge the self-inflicted pain I suffered in the 45 years since I sat in your spot. Like Thomas Edison said of his life, I failed my way to success. You'll walk an easier road than mine if you follow 4 principles. First, navigate from point to point. Life is unpredictable. Recognize that luck and circumstance, bad or good, will blow you in unimaginable directions. Never take credit for good fortune because only liars and fools claim their effort alone brought success. Likewise, don't be a masochist and blame yourself for bad luck. For good results you do in fact earn, don't sprain your arm patting yourself on the back, and when bad results are deserved, don't break your foot kicking yourself. At each waypoint, take a deep breath and make a considered choice about what's next. Move on without obsessing over what's ahead or behind you. Second, do your homework. Life is a series of decisions, and you can't duck the tough ones as much as you'd like to, because doing nothing is in fact doing something. Through dedicated preparation, you can avoid bad decisions and minimize bad luck. Learn all you can and plumb your own experience to understand the potential impact of even unlikely factors. Never fear asking for advice. Knowing what you don't know is as important as knowing what you do. Also, never downplay negative information because you're wishing for a particular result. Lying to yourself is as bad as lying to another. In the end, nothing is more important to success than objective knowledge. This includes work experience, bad or good, learning from reading, or even experience from everyday life. Keep your eyes open and your interests wide. You don't know what may help you in some unanticipated or decisive way. Over my long career, I was guided by what I experienced, taught myself, or learned from others. My only business class was a night course in accounting. I should have come here. It would have helped me. Third, pursue your passion. Let your heart and not your bank account dominate your job decisions. Instead, consider broadly how each job can propel you towards your goal. Gaining experience, contacts, or a mentor, especially when you're young, is as valuable as pay. Each job you take is likely not your final opportunity. I sincerely believe that if you love what you're doing, whatever you're doing will be paid, your pay will be plenty. So what does loving your job mean? At minimum, it means you enjoy the job's challenge and take pride in your work. At most, it means you can't imagine doing anything else. That's a really tough standard, though. If you're like me, there are many interesting things to pursue. Shoot for the moon, a job you'd never leave, but be happy with the job that moves you in that direction and satisfies you at some level. Remember that no matter how good, a job will always be W-O-R-K. No job is perfect. No job. Fourth, be humble. Learn to see the world through others' eyes. Listen. Business is entirely about relationships, investors, partners, colleagues, employees, suppliers, and customers. View each of these as a collaboration, a partnership. In your dealings, focus on understanding the other side's objectives and how you might satisfy them while accomplishing your own. Good business isn't a zero-sum game. Good business is when everybody wins. Be selfless in your relationships, because when you put yourself second, you're more likely to end up first. You'll build trust, the glue of successful enterprise. So remember this favorite of mine: there is no limit to your success or where you can go as long as you don't expect the credit. Episodes in my career taught me these principles. Several times, bad decisions, terrible decisions, put me in awful spots. The first was at the outset of my career. I went to law school despite a passion to study philosophy and teach. Pressure from a girlfriend landed me at the University of Chicago Law School. Even though a terrific school, I detested every minute. I can't believe I'm wearing the Chicago robe. I didn't go to the law school graduation because I hated it. Many times I've wondered what my life would have been had I pursued a PhD. I can't say better or worse. All I know is that I love philosophy. Mercifully, my legal career was short. I took a job with a large Chicago law firm, and within a week of starting, I was asked to write a Supreme Court brief. That's a really big deal for a young guy to get that job. I labored for weeks on this thing, but there wasn't glory. I turned it in, and the partner grabbed it and tossed it in the trash and just kept the cover. It was really embarrassing. My application, I moved to corporate law. My application for regulatory approval of a bank merger, I cited the wrong regulations. Somehow, the approval was miraculously granted despite my clear malpractice. So I had to get out. I failed at the law because I didn't like it. There was a silver lining, though. My client experiences, their businesses, and what they did led me to try for a business career, something I had never considered. So navigate point to point. I left law practice to join VMS Realty, a 1980s real estate firm. While this ended up to be a pretty good decision, it wasn't initially. It was impulsive. Real estate then was big money and even bigger personalities, and I really wanted to be part of it. Having no management experience whatsoever, I was hired to run a large staff that qualified investors for investment partnerships. I quickly learned that my job was a complete dead end and not the grand leap to the C-suite that I thought it might be. But entirely by chance, I was asked to close a loan, not as a businessman, but as a lawyer. I never thought my legal training would matter, but without it, I wouldn't have made it to business. Long hours at the office got the transaction done, and within a year, I was acting completely in a business capacity, negotiating $150 million of loans a year. Well, I don't know, I didn't stay with VMS. Dazzled by more pay and the job description, I joined Bankers Trust, then a major Wall Street investment bank, to arrange securitizations, the novel financings I had been doing at VMS. But I wasn't honest with myself about the investment banking's cutthroat culture or the folks that hired me. I really just wanted the job and focused on the pay I would be getting and the glamour. In the time it took me to move my family to New York, the position was given to somebody else, despite my contract. I was directed instead to start a mortgage finance group, something I knew absolutely nothing about. I didn't do very well, naturally, but the experience was my ticket back to Chicago for a job at First Chicago, which is now part of JP Morgan, to found a mortgage banking business. So this shows you, even a rough experience can sweep you forward. I did okay because I had a strategy. Again, do your homework. This included hiring seasoned talent to fill gaps in my own knowledge. Relying on colleagues was new to me. I never asked for help because I feared either revealing my inexperience or sharing my success. Despite my relative happiness, money and ego jumped in again. They were a lure, and I joined an office developer here in Chicago to buy businesses, something I hadn't, and neither had they done. So you might ask, well, why would an office developer want to acquire businesses? Well, it's a great question. I didn't ask, and I should have. In my first week, my boss told me he'd invest no money and take zero risk with any transaction I brought. Well, you know, it's pretty tough to do a deal without capital and with the company taking no risk. So naturally, I did none, and he moved me pretty quickly to a different task. He's a really challenging man. To find $500 million to finance a 2,000-foot tower, which had no pre-leasing and would have used construction technology that was untested. It was to be at Madison and Wells, downtown in the Loop. It's small consolation that it didn't happen, but I was fired. Nobody did it after me, and shovel was never turned. So I was out of work. Right after getting canned, the first Gulf War broke out, and the economy was sent into a free fall. My life was too. My wife divorced me, the one who told me to go to law school. And I retreated to a depressing, probably haunted attic apartment that my sons called the lair because their room had no window. I subsisted on hot dogs, Diet Coke, but mostly beer. I had slid down the pole of life and was broke and broken. That dark time drove home the importance of humility, which informed the rest of my career and is the foundation of my success. I sent out hundreds of applications, but there were no jobs. I applied for unemployment, which took 3 tries because the lines were so long. When I made it to my social worker, I was asked, what was the last work I did? I said, well, financing the world's tallest building. I said that just as I overheard the gentleman in the next booth say, raking leaves. That was a wake-up call. I had the best pedigree, but was I really the best person? How could I even say that I was unlucky? Chance pushes us along in life as much as our choices. I was reminded that humility and empathy, gratitude too, should guide us, to listen to and appreciate the needs of others. After nearly a year without work, luck smiled upon me. My former assistant, who for some reason kept opening my mail, called to tell me to get my suit cleaned, buy a new tie, and press a shirt. She had set up an interview with a small firm conducting an executive search for someone with my experience. After several rounds of interviews, I got the job with the company I retired from 22 years later. You know, she could have thrown the letter away. There are angels. You know, you can't count on them, but there are angels. in the world. I had a wonderful career at Centerpoint Properties Trust, retiring as CEO, as I said. My partners and I grew a local Chicago warehouse company into a leading national investor and developer of logistics, real estate, and infrastructure. Today, it's worth $12 billion. Thank you. A lot of help, a lot of help. But my successes and many failures over those years prove the principles that I've shared with you today. Let me end with my dad's charge to my siblings and me every day when we left for the bus. We lost him at 95. He used to say, "Be good and do good." Dad was teaching us what I think is indispensable: to be humble and empathetic, to practice gratitude, generosity, and kindness. I had forgotten those things and learned them at the end there when I'd lost my job, relearned them. In other words, if you're those things, you're what I call a good soul. Our mom, who passed at 94 last year, had essential advice also. She was a little more salty. She'd say, "I can spot a phony a mile away." I can hear her say that. We used to call her Feisty Helen. But that was her way of saying what I counsel people: find good souls and keep them close. If you're a good soul and associate with like minds, you'll not just succeed in business, you'll lead a moral life. You'll measure your actions by a simple test. Does what I do for myself respect the dignity of others? Are those impacted also better off? So there it is. Pursue your dreams wherever they take you and however they evolve. Never be discouraged. Learn from everything you do and be thoughtful in your choices. Most importantly, be good souls. If you are, other good souls will find you, and success and happiness will inevitably follow. Congratulations to you and your families. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Paul, for your words of wisdom to our audience today. The candidates for master's degrees will now be presented. Dean Novak will make the recommendations to President Rooney, who in turn will confer the degrees. I would like to invite Dr. Rooney and Dean Novak to the podium.
Will the candidates for master's degrees from the Quinlan School of Business please rise? President Rooney, I have the pleasure of presenting to you the candidates for the degrees Master of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration in Healthcare Management, Master of Science Accountancy, Master of Science Business Data Analytics, Master of Science Finance, Master of Science Human Resources and Employment Relations, Master of Science Information Systems and Analytics, Master of Science Information Systems Management, Master of Science Integrated Marketing Communications, Master of Science in Marketing, and Master of Science in Supply Chain Management. The candidates have fulfilled all the requirements for their degrees, and I recommend that the degrees be conferred upon them.
Candidates, upon the recommendation of the Dean of the Quinlan School of Business and its faculty, and by the authority granted to Loyola University Chicago by the state of Illinois, and delegated to me by the Board of Trustees of this university, I confer upon you the master's degrees for which you have been recommended. As a sign of your new academic status, please don your hoods. And congratulations, graduates.
The candidates for all master's degrees will now come forward by degree group as directed by marshals to be recognized by name. Candidates who have not yet been taken out of their seats may be seated again. Dr. Nenad Jukic, Professor of Information Systems, will read the names of the candidates. One of our long-standing traditions is to have each of our graduates shake the hands of the president and the dean as they walk across the stage, accepting their diploma. This year, out of an abundance of caution and respect for each graduates and their families, at each of our ceremonies throughout the week, we ask that you forego this customary handshake and instead exchange verbal greetings. We thank you for your understanding. Please remain in your seats and hold your applause until the end of each degree group. Guests are not permitted to approach the stage or take photographs. We thank you for your cooperation.
Receiving the degree Master of Business Administration, Mohammed Amar Al-Siraj. Saurabh Agarwal. Fahad Al-Nimah. Benjamin Podsik Amani. Krisha Ann Ilog Andalajo. Amaya Aranzabal Torre. Jack Uskari. Michael James Augustine. Shalene Allison Barrett. Sally Beach. Cynthia Magdalena Becerra. Jeffrey Bialuruki. Catherine Brickenbull. Elliot Byrne. Nidia Noemi Blanco. William Bradley. Sarah Brathold. Kamina Nicole Brooks. Marshawn Shree Brown. Henry Bush. Angelica Kanata. Dominic Cayley. Francis Chaloku. Bridget Jane Carney. Oliver Lloyd Chell. David Jeffrey Constantine. David Coutinho. Raquel Elizabeth Kribus. Connor Kripus. Katie Ann Criswell. Arissa Crystal Cunanan Fernando. MSISA and MBA. Ellie Albert the Cool. Jalen Alejandro Davila Smith. William Connor Davis. Allison Day. Emily DeRocher. Melissa Diaz. Lucy Drozd. Alex Young. Hasnia Jankovic. Madison Riley Fairchild. Kiara St. Michael Feather Blazer. Stephen Phillip. Julie Ann Fisher. Bianca Paula Flores Perez. Nicholas Franklin Fowler. Christina Komachi Fujita. Robert Foos. Hannah Elena Garrett. Dina Glazer. Kevin William Golden. Ebony Isis Graves. Chloe Kirsten Green. Inea Jubilee Gregory. Noor Gubler. Michael Evan Halgas. Ryan Daniel Hanrahan. Emily Hogan. Teolinda Giron Havey. Veronica Hout de Betch. Elizabeth Horan. Alexandra Janis. Paul Jens van Rensburg. Tanya Haramia. Kristen Lily Jones. Kirsten Lily Jones. Sorry. Kirsten Lily Jones. Robert Jones. Lindsay Marie Kennedy. Miral Kyrie. Shabareen Khan. Rebecca Kikama. Daphne Renee Kirby. Christopher Kidsman. Daniel Cole. Morgan Kennedy Alexandris Kotsides. Erin Ann Lapa Laird. Corey Levin. Sorry. Jeremy Harris Levin. Elias Leva. Jonathan Alexander Lindsay Rivera. Carlos Manuel Lopez. Sarah Isabel Lopez. Lauren Ann Lucky. Lisa Marie Lucas. Robin Lusbader. Joseph Marchese. Tamika Marongwe. Jackson Thomas Martin. Samantha Jo Martin. Maria Estefania Martinez Muller. Braden Marty. Maxwell Gerard McDonald. Jonathan Jaleel McGee. Charles David Miniot. Cassandra Yolanda McGovern. Raven McMorris. Anthony McPherson. Morgan Mehochko. Veronica Miatselskaya. Jacqueline Elena Miseli. Ramona Mihailova. Carrie Miner. Alexa Mirocho. Leslie Montoya. Madeline Buckley Moore. Helena Morcos. Mallory Mulvihill. John Bjorkman Murray. Kathleen Ann Nash. Bridget Claire Nelson. Catherine Ann Nolan. Emma Marie O'Brien. Sean Ogle. Jonathan Ostroff. Sophia Otto. David Pakovitz. Irma Papabetene. Julia Para. Anand Patel. Kush Patel. Ryan Clemens Paul. Itzel Pelayo. Hannah Pelfrani. Megan Christine Phillip. Bianca Pigonuakis. Hannah Pirtan. Fernando Alfonso Plaza Urrutia. John Quirk. Catherine Renwick. Alexis Lynn Rivera. Kerry Roach. Antonio Jose Rodriguez Mendez. Bianca Rogers. Aaron Miles Rubin. Prerna Ruparel. Aubrey Russo. Sujit Sakchan. David Kernan Schmidt. Olivia Eileen Seal. Sarah Surur. Megan O'Neill Shanahan. Nisar Siddiqui. Madonna Singara. Margaret Jean Skermetti. Colin Mackenzie Smith. Michael Stritchley. Benjamin Stockton. William Tice. Emily Thorne. Ngozi Ude. Sierra Vera. Myla Skinner. Christopher Kevin Watson. Emma Pearl Westfall. Thomas Very. Jasleen Washington. Ellen Victoria White. Jeremy Alexander Widelka. Jasmine Williams. Kirkton Paul Williams. Chase Morgan Wilson. Sigita Wolf. Jennifer Wright. Rumal Zafar. Lisette Zamora.
Let's congratulate all our MBA students.
Receiving the degree Master of Business Administration in Healthcare Management. Loredana Campo. Kristen Ward Hirsch. Deetra Lawson. Heriberto Martinez. Chitra Narayanan. Manisha Patel Chander. Malod Kutsi. Matthew Sapienza. Alfonso Tafur.
Let's congratulate all our MBA in Healthcare Management.
Receiving the degree Master of Science Accountancy. Bai Yi. Riley Blackwell. Victoria Jingli Chen. Alex Clark. Braden Alexander Cobble. Paige Elizabeth Fisher. Ina Gramatyuk. Lilia Araceli Guzman. Mashal Fatima Hassan. Meredith Ann Lee. Wilmena Manaloto. Christian Martinez. Dominic Pecos. Stephanie Dana Peric. Jana Radats. Catherine Rashi. Brian Shoup. Joshua Sirbu. Isidoro Sosa Gonzalez. Iga Shelag. Galina Wushi. Gabriela Nook. Jeremy Wu. James Nathaniel Yarn. Sarah Yelly. Hyunjung Woo.
Let's congratulate our MS in Accountancy.
Receiving the degree Master of Science, Business Data Analytics, Emina Hadjic. Catherine Stevens.
Let's congratulate our MS BDA students.
Receiving the degree Master of Science, Finance, Jessica Atefi. Jorge Bayo. John Crucial. Ryan Fernandez. Alan Jose Gutierrez. Thomas Mooney. Rupal Narania. Tyler Rampy. Richard Stokel. Alec Vanderloo.
Let's congratulate our MS in Finance students.
Receiving the degree Master of Science, Information Systems and Analytics, Riley Blake Fitzgerald. Monica Greco. Mika Hosomizu.
You know what?
The
These
wrong
are
one?
listed, yeah.
Okay.
We only have one of them. So
Apparently receiving the degree in Masters of Science in Human Resources. Okay. Mika Hosomizu.
No.
No? Okay. Jenna Nicole Ivkovic. Diane Marie Link. Mari Carmen Lopez. Zachary Ryan Manzella. Sergio Ortiz. Jessica Romero. Camila Yesenia Soriano. Christopher Levon Thompson Jr.
Let's congratulate our Masters of Science in Human Resources.
Now receiving the degree Master of Science Information Systems and Analytics, Maria Elena Aranda. Claudia Elebrecht. Ryan Gallas. Molly Ann Herdlick. Jason Janiga. Ebru Karapinar. Leticia Maria Likopoulos Janopoulos. Kaylin Luis Luck. Rafael Rojas. Florence Myung Hwa Yun.
Congratulations, Master of Science, Information Systems and Analytics.
Receiving the degree Master of Science Information Systems Management, Victor Emilio Lopez.
That's it. Let's congratulate Victor on his MSISM degree.
Receiving the degree Master of Science Integrated Marketing Communications, Ashtar Tessin Raza Nakwi. Christine Riley.
Let's congratulate Ashtar and Christine.
Receiving the degree Master of Science Marketing, Oyinlola Akinlosotu. Eduardo Alaman Jr. Abigail Lane Bernard. Sarah Bowman. Michael Brennan. Ines Natalia Castro. Amanda Kazel. Abigail Darrow. Jaina Habibovich. Kendrick Lamarck Hagwood II. Manal Haroon. Allison Hess. Olga Ioannidi. Brittany Chanel Marshall. Margetta Claire Olson. Vasu Patel. Preet Patel. Julia Rabito. Haley Shoneman. Justina Skavronsky. Deidre Alice Smith-Davis. Kahui Tam. Howard Weldon. Alish Yeager.
Let's congratulate our Masters of Science in Marketing students.
Receiving the degree Master of Science, Supply Chain Management, Javier Arturo Ayala Gonçalves. Claire Kathleen Driscoll. Joseph Dennis Gordon. Alexander Hopkins. Alan Justin Lee. Eric Morales. Nathan Wynn. Sarah Orswell. Arancha Eli Valverde. Congratulations, 2022 graduates from the Quinlan School of Business.
Thank you, Dr. Yukich. Following the closing blessing, please join the graduates for a reception on the West Quad. We ask that you remain in your seats until all the graduates have exited the auditorium. It is now my privilege to invite Dr. Joanne Rooney, president of Loyola University, Chicago, to the podium to offer a few remarks and a final blessing.
Members of the class of 2022, it has definitely been a very long road, juggling families, work, and classes. Maybe best described as riding a roller coaster through a dark tunnel, unable to see those steep drops and hairpin turns, not certain when you will emerge into the light. Yet, you did it. You have graduated. Will everyone join me giving these grads one more round of applause? Each of us, at various times throughout our lives, both sit on the shoulders and follow in the footsteps of others who came before us. Just over 500 years ago, St. Ignatius of Loyola and a small group of colleagues made a pledge to each other. They vowed to study, work, and pray together. They pledged to propagate a faith that melded spirituality with deep inquiry, fostering that dynamic tension between formation of the mind academically with formation of deep spirituality and trust in God. When they founded the Society of Jesus and its educational method and mission, they did so in a spirit of intellectual and cultural openness that fundamentally shifted Christianity and Western culture. The Jesuits did not promote a blind, unquestioning faith. No, their revolutionary approach blended spiritual and educational methods that opened hearts and minds to art and to science, to reason and to rhetoric. Through deep inquiry, observation, debate, and discourse, they looked for God, God in all things, and they did all of this in service to others. Ignatius and the Jesuits created a system of education that integrated study and research, rigor and compassion, contemplation and conversation, all with active engagement among the people, societies, and cultures around them. In short, the Jesuits moved beyond the secure walls of the monastery to fearlessly engage with the world around them, to advance change, and to lift up those who suffer. Today, that same mission is entrusted to you and embodied in you. Graduates, you are challenged to act, going to the margins of our society in service to the poor and underserved, and expanding the frontiers of knowledge to support that same service. You have embraced your Jesuit education not simply as a way to distinguish yourselves in a career, but as a way to learn, to lead, and to serve in your place and time in this world. On its face, this idea of service may seem straightforward and uncomplicated. It is not. I was reminded of this recently in a Western civilization class that I attended, taught by our own Professor Buchholz. Civilization, civilized society, is at its core about community, about greetings and sympathy. As members of a community, we must be willing to reach deep within ourselves to engage with each other, not just via a video or text, but face to face, human connection to human connection. It is receiving each other and interacting on a personal level, the smile, the nod, the acknowledgement, the embrace. But along with greeting, we must also show sympathy, or better description, true empathy. Committing ourselves to seeing each other, appreciating each other, understanding each other, and showing compassion and care. It is only then that we could be of real service, walking alongside and accompanying those in need. Recently, Pope Francis was much more direct, dare I say blunt, in his assessment, calling on each of us to put aside consumerism and self-centered desires to serve others. In a recent homily celebrating Mass for the World Day of the Poor, he stated, "Let us not waste our lives thinking only of ourselves, indifferent to others, or deluding ourselves into thinking peace and security. Instead," he said, "we must look reality in the face and avoid the infection of indifference." The infection of indifference. As we emerge from the relative isolation of the pandemic, we are often struck and even consumed by all the sorrows and lessons we have endured over the past few years, even though we cannot undo that past. We also can become anxious and even overwhelmed when we focus on the future and all that we need to do to address the urgent issues in our neighborhoods, our communities, and across the world. But also, we cannot dictate the details of tomorrow. Learn from the past, yes. Contemplate the future, of course. However, equally important, what we must also do is to be present in the moment. I urge you to regularly pause and engage with the present. Offer greetings, express empathy, appreciate the beauty that surrounds us, the warmth of the sun, the uplifting sound of laughter, the vibrant colors of new spring growth, the melodies of joyous music, the smile of a child, the poignant stories of an elder. My sincere prayer for each of you is that your Jesuit education affords you protection against the infection of indifference. That you continue to explore, grow, and learn, moving toward a hope-filled future, serving where the need is the greatest. That you stay connected to the present, nourishing the good in your lives with love and optimism, sharing greetings and expressing sympathy. In these ways, you will be the difference, and you will make the difference in all that you do. As I close, I would like to offer one final gesture of respect and gratitude to each of you. Graduates of the Quinlan School of Business at Loyola University, Chicago, I tip my hat to you in congratulations. Now, graduates, we will ask you to please remain seated just for a few more moments. Everyone else, please stand if you are able and extend your hand over our graduates for a final blessing. The blessing is located on the last page of the program book and will also be displayed on the screens. I ask you to please join me. May God bless you and sustain you on this, your graduation day. May the Creator of this vast universe keep you safe as you go forth from this place that has nourished your mind and your soul. May the Almighty look down upon you and give you success in all your endeavors, courage in all your struggles and challenges, understanding in all that is new to you, wisdom to choose what is right and do what is good, perseverance in all you undertake, serenity and peace in the knowledge that you are not alone, that you are loved. May the Lord of all look kindly upon you this day and forever. Amen. And congratulations, graduates.